What up, everyone? This is Brenton.
And Jenna.
This podcast is all about connecting with our Autumn family in a fun and different kind of way.
So turn down that CB, buckle up, and enjoy the show. It's going to be trucking awesome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Autumn Transport Podcast. My name is Brenton. I'm a liquid freight manager here at Autumn, and I have Jenna with me today. Jenna, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
How was your Mother's Day?
Oh, it was really nice. Spent time with my family and my in-laws as well. And yeah, it was really nice. I met my first nephew for the first time as well this weekend. So that was awesome.
Is that a newborn?
Yeah, he's 3 weeks old.
Nice.
Yep.
How old are your kids?
I have a 2.5-year-old girl and a 5.5-month-old boy.
Oh, fun. So
Yeah.
your first Mother's Day with your new baby boy.
Yes, first one as a mother of two.
Did he get you anything?
Yeah, he got me flowers.
What a guy.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids, and my 16-year-old son sent me a text yesterday, and he said, "Dad, can you pick up a bottle of wine for Mom for Mother's Day?" So I don't know if that makes me a lawbreaker that I bought my 16-year-old wine, but I know that he gave it to his mother. So
as long as he gave it to his mom.
yeah. Well, we have a special guest with us today. We have a liquid tank driver. Chuck Haviland is with us. Chuck, how are you?
I'm good.
It's good. Now, we weren't celebrating you for Mother's Day, but how was your Mother's Day?
My Mother's Day was pretty good. I spent it in the truck driving up here. So.
Like a lot of our guys probably that spent Mother's Day out on their
Yes, but the mother was taken care of before I got up here, so she got hers.
little pre-planning for that.
Yeah. We did an adoption, so she got to be an actual legal mother for Mother's Day, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, why don't we just start off with that then? Can you talk about that? That's pretty
Sure.
pretty awesome. Tell us about it.
My wife has been taking care of my kids for off and on for 4 years, and we've been married for, the last 3 years. She's been doing it full time, but we decided to go ahead and do the adoption, and it got granted on the 9th. So the kids were super excited. She was super excited.
What's that process like? Is that a pretty intense process?
I guess it probably could be, but I had an incredible family lawyer for my kids, and then their biological mother agreed to allow the adoption to go through, so it wasn't real bad. In fact, I only talked to the lawyer twice before we walked into a courtroom, so
Okay.
it was pretty quick and easy.
Yeah, that's really, really a cool thing. And how long have you been married to your wife who adopted the kids?
We've been married. Oh wow, you shouldn't do that. We've been together almost 4 years, and we've been married for 2.
Okay. Yeah, that is cool. Some friends of mine have done adoption. They did an overseas adoption, which is obviously very different than your situation.
Oh yeah.
But that was an amazing process. I mean, that took years and was so expensive, which kind of blows your mind because you'd think that it would be easier, that they would, like, people who want to adopt would have an easier opportunity to do it to help these kids.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it took them a long time. They're really happy, and it's a really good deal. I'm glad to hear that. I know you took some time off from work
Yeah.
in order to make that go through, and I'm glad that everyone's happy and that it went smooth.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's the only time little kids ever have actual rights. Because they have to have the lawyer. You don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they have to have a judge advocate. So it's the one time in their life that they actually have a say.
Now, did you sit down with them kind of and talk to them about it ahead of time? And how old are they, by the way?
7 and 6. But I mean, we discussed it. It wasn't like, okay, now you're going to have to do this. You're going to do this. I just explained to them what an adoption was. And it was basically nothing was going to change. It was just, now Mimi's going to be mom. It's going to be 100% legal. And they were on board with it. And they did awesome in court. I mean, I think I was more nervous than they were.
You know, for a guy who talks all the time on the phone and it's got a big personality, getting your mouth up close to the mic is a little more challenging, right?
I just shut down, right?
Yeah, you put a microphone in some. What did they say? Public speaking? Or
Yes.
Speaking in public is like the number one fear. More people
Yeah.
are afraid of that than dying.
It is. I did. I hosted karaoke for a couple of years to get over stage fright, and I was fine. And then all of a sudden, it comes back.
Okay, let's dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Oh Lord.
That's great.
Yeah.
What's the most requested song when you're hosting karaoke? What do people love to do?
Oh, probably anything with Tina Turner or Elvis Presley, honestly, whenever I was doing it, but that was a few years back.
I was gonna
You
say,
ain't nothing but a hound dog.
that-
If you thought I wasn't going to sing today, you were wrong.
And I hated it if people didn't sign up because while you're waiting, you had to sing.
Oh,
really?
And I don't sing. I can barely talk. Let's be honest.
What was your go-to filler song when it was you having to kill some time?
I had a few of them actually, but I did quite a bit of the Garth Brooks and Kenny Rogers songs like The Gambler and
Yep.
I just Rodeo and
Rodeo's
there's
a great
bunch of
song.
them.
Friends in
Yeah.
Low Places.
Friends in Low Places, the adult version of it, and yeah, hell, Randy Travis.
Okay, it's a lot
It's
of
my
country.
favorite songs.
I'm really surprised Tina Turner.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it was a little hick biker bar in Michigan, but they love Tina Turner. So
Huh. Yeah, I think Don't Stop Believing. It's got to be a favorite.
say Journey and
what's the? I can't remember now. The one where she dances a little crazy, but anyway. The
Shania
song,
Twain?
Tina Turner, but it was stuck in my head, but it's gone now. So anyway,
There may or may not be some cell phone evidence of a few years back me doing Ice Ice Baby karaoke.
oh, we have to resurface that.
Vanilla Ice, yeah. It's a
That's
go-to.
a tough one.
Jenna
not
would
really.
you'd be Linkin Park probably.
100%, yeah.
I don't know what I would do now though. It wouldn't be Ice Ice Baby. Maybe something Morgan Wallen. Last Night by Morgan Wallen. It's a little newer country for you if you were doing Randy Travis.
yeah, I don't follow very much new country. I think Toby Keith was the last new artist I listened to.
So you were doing that up in Michigan. Was this pre-trucking or in between trucking or
It was
on the
bef-
weekends? What was that all about?
It was before I went over the road, but I was driving local, and yeah, everybody thought that I was a fun-loving guy at the bar, and one of the county cops up there thought it'd be a good idea to hire me to run his equipment for him on the weekend, and some friends of mine showed me how to do it, and I started doing it. I mean, I got a bar tab paid for free every weekend, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That is cool. So you were running local in Michigan, and we'll get to. Let's go back before that. Then, even like, how did you first get into trucking?
That was kind of weird, actually. I always wanted to go to truck driving school because in Arkansas you have chickens, and more chickens, and that's pretty much all you get to do, or join the military.
Okay.
And I always wanted to be a truck driver, and I just never had the money for trucking school. I tried when I was 18. I couldn't get financing. I moved to Michigan just before my 21st birthday, and my brother was working for a house moving company, and I was working at a Speedy Q convenience store, like at 7-Eleven. And he came in and cashed his check one morning, and he said, "Hey, man," I said, "I had no idea you made money like this." He goes, "Man, you can make more than this if you come to work with me. I told my boss about you." He said, "If you can pass the test, he'll pay for your license." And I said, "Well, that's something to think about." He goes, "Well, he needs a decision today." And an officer friend of mine happened to walk in for his morning cup of coffee, and I handed him the keys and told him I quit. And I went to work, met the boss. I did a written test, passed it with a third-party examiner that afternoon. I drove all week with him, and Friday I did a road test, and the following Monday he took me down and got me my plastic license. I really lucked out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was very fortunate to have good guys in my life to teach me the ropes and tell me to suck it up and keep going.
And what's cool, Chuck, is you are that guy now.
I try to be because
You are.
I still remember the very first time I ever drove a truck. It's very vivid in my mind. It's been almost 30 years. And whenever I help you guys with any of the new drivers, I try to remember what it was like to be that new guy. You know,
Yeah.
and just breathe deep, and nothing's permanent as long as you're still breathing. So
Yeah. And what you're talking about, just for our listeners, is our referral program and our mentorship program that you actively participate in. So we work together mostly on that. And so tell us about some of the guys you've sent here and kind of what you say to them that makes them want to come work with Autumn.
Well, most of the guys I sit here, I've known for years.
Right.
They were
Yep.
friends of mine, obviously, but so they know that I talked about Autumn a lot throughout the years, and the recent ones that have come over, most of them are still here and doing good. Some had personal issues; they had to leave, but they just always wanted to know what it was about Autumn that I see in Autumn and how I feel. And I feel different than most drivers probably about it, but for personal reasons. But I just tell them it's a place that you're really a member of a family. You're not a truck number. Even if your dispatch is having a bad day, it's like, oh man, it's not this guy again. It's like, hey man, what can we do for you? It's a real family environment, and everybody seems to understand that we all have to succeed. You know, it's not oh, that's the sinking ship over there, we're going to pull the plug and let it go. It's try to give them the help. And my friends have never owned a truck before, so this was a good way for them to get in, get their feet wet, get some experience, and understand the ropes, you know, so they're not flying blind. And because that's what most people, they buy a truck and then they don't understand all the work that goes to buying a truck and owning a truck.
Yeah.
And then they get frustrated and then they leave, you know, the industry. And I just like be able to tell them, hey, we got a support team here.
There's a big difference between being just a company truck driver and being an owner operator.
Oh, there is. Yeah. You definitely have to be willing to suck it up, pull yourself up by bootstraps, figure the problem out, get a plan together that works for you. Because if you got a plan together, then you let your company know, they'll back you. But you got to do the legwork.
One of the big differences that I've seen in working with you, you've been in the liquid tank division for a while now. And one of the things that I see that really sets you apart and makes you successful is that taking the ownership of taking care of your truck.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff that you fix on your own, that you identify problems ahead of time, that if you need a certain part, you do the legwork to find that part. Where someone who's got a long background as a company driver is a lot more reliant on typically the company. They just say, oh, I'm broke down, fix me, find me a solution.
Yeah, and a lot of it is they're afraid of being wrong. Honestly, with most drivers, most of us, you can't tell us anything because we already know. And but if you get us off to the side, we're just as nervous about it as everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
We don't really know that much, but we'll fake it until we can make it, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm just one person, you know, and when, like our team, I think we have 35 drivers.
In liquid tanks, they're up to 41.
Okay, well, 41. So if I'm just one person and I call in and I take 15 minutes of your time and there's 41 other people or 40 other people calling in, taking up 15 minutes of your time, I'm the guy that's not going to get my load because you guys were busy dealing with 40 other drivers. So you're dealing with 40 of me. I'm dealing with you, just one. The other drivers' problems aren't mine,
Right.
unless they ask me. So that's why I try to tell everybody, hey, email them. If it's not important, they'll get back to you, you know. If it's really important, blow their phone up.
Yeah, you got to.
You know, but because you got to keep moving. But if it's not important, why bother them? You know, you guys are nice people, you know.
Yeah, we're fun to talk to.
Usually, yeah, mostly, you know. Yeah. But you know, I like to share. I like to share my lovely dispatch with the rest of the trucking universe and let you guys go deal with them and leave me alone.
You do raise a really good point about that. you're one guy calling in on a one-on-one, and it is I appreciate you saying and reminding other drivers that there's 40 other guys calling, or in the pneumatic division, it's 65 or 70 other drivers. And so we do definitely want to treat every driver with respect and urgency and hear you out and help you solve problems. But when there are drivers who can take that initiative to solve that problem on their own, or even, it's not even a problem necessarily, but calling a customer ahead of time or planning out things, looking up washes on their own, things like that, utilizing the tools that we give them on PeopleNet. There's a lot of notes on PeopleNet that we'll send out that sometimes drivers don't ever read. And then they call us and they say, well, what's the number to this customer? It's like, it's right there on your dispatch.
Right.
And
Just
it's not that we
little button.
we don't want to share that information, but
Right.
if you can get answers quicker sometimes by taking that initiative on your own.
Well, and I believe you get what you give in trucking. You really do. Like if you want to be successful, then you got to do everything you can to succeed. You can't wait on somebody else to do it for you. Excuse me. But it's the same way with the customers, getting your truck worked on, just really take responsibility, Always remember that you're just one person. I've gone to customers, they've had a really bad day. And I've hear from other drivers, hey, this guy is this and they're that. It's really about how you present yourself. If you go in, be humble and understand that they've dealt with 10 of you. So by the time you've gotten there, you're number 11, and they've had enough. So show them that you're not number 11. You're the first decent person that day that they've talked to. It's 15 minutes of your life.
Yeah, attitude is everything.
Yeah, don't let 15 minutes ruin your entire day.
Yeah.
Just, same way dispatch. I call it dispatch. I don't let that 15 minutes ruin my day.
That's the best part of your day. Jenna, you mentioned the ownership program that we have here at Autumn and the mentorship program. When you selected Chuck to be part of that mentorship program, what were the things that you saw in him that you thought would make him a great candidate?
I honestly can't even take credit for that because you were on the list when I started. But I'll tell you what I've heard about you and seen from you since I've been here. So you were kind of already part of the program. You and Mark probably worked out something like that before I was here. But Chuck is, one, willing to do it, which not everyone probably is. It takes a lot of your time.
It does.
And we seriously value that because otherwise those calls are coming here. But we understand it takes part of your day. So it's super cool that you're willing to do that. And you're knowledgeable. You have the experience. You've been with Autumn before, so you understand us.
Right.
So just a lot of those things. Smart owner operator, just everything like that is what's valuable to us as in the mentorship program.
I just like seeing people succeed. So if I can help them with a little bit of information, and I won't give them bad information. If I don't know, I tell them I don't know. You need to call dispatch.
Sure.
You need to.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Call
too,
recruiting
right?
or somebody.
Yeah.
But if I can help them, then it's easier to get it from another driver than it is to, especially if they have that company mentality that I'm supposed to be in charge, but I can't be in charge because I don't have my information. They're so used to dispatch telling them what to do, when to do it, and when they come over here, they just need to know that, hey, look in the mirror, man. That's your boss. You got a partnership, but you make all the decisions. Either you're going to do it or you're not.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of that too in interviewing candidates before coming here, and some of them are uncertain too about running their own business, and they need a lot of that extra assistance or kind of confirmation that they'll be able to do it. But there's a lot that goes into it, and I think once they come on, there's certain things that they want to hear from a current driver versus me, right? So that helps too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you guys are in the nitty gritty every day, and hearing it from you helps.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a review on Google, right? Like anybody can go on there and do a review. So if you've talked to a past driver that had an issue with a certain dispatch or whatever it was, and they're having a bad day, then then the other driver thinks, hey, I don't want nothing to do with this. But if you really take your time, talk to a few people, and I don't have all the answers, and they're not going to be all the right answers all the time. Like what they want to hear. But
Right.
reach out to your fellow drivers. It doesn't even matter if they're in your division. Just say hi to them. I mean, we're all on the same side, right? So just introduce yourself. Say, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You having a good time? So, most of them are.
If there's a driver listening today who's interested and says, hey, I'd like to be a part of the mentor program, what steps should they take?
Yeah, we don't really advertise it. I guess it's kind of something that we just, as we see a need, we kind of pair you guys up. But if someone, just call me straight up. And
What do you want us to call you?
Yeah, call. And we can definitely get that set up because I'd love to have more mentors on the team.
It's worth doing. It really is. I encourage anybody that's been an owner operator for a couple of years, anybody that's been with Autumn for any time at all.
Yep.
Be willing to reach out to that other driver and you don't even have to go through the whole mentoring thing if that's what you don't want to do. Just be there, be willing to take that phone call from that driver and help him through that little rough spot. Because, I guarantee you, no matter how good of a driver you are, you've had that moment before. So just be willing to pay it forward, Don't keep that all to yourself. You got tons of knowledge. This company alone with experience, there's probably a couple of thousand years worth of truck driving experience in this, company. So share the wealth. There's stuff I don't know. And of course, I'm never afraid to ask either. So
How did you first get connected with Autumn?
let's see. I got to do the adult clean version. That's a funny story though, because
How is there an not adult clean version of this story?
I know, I don't even want to ask.
well, my
How'd you
brother-in-law.
find your job? I don't know. It was pretty dirty.
Well, kind of. No, seriously. But when I started out as an owner operator, I was leased on with one of the mega carriers, and I lived through a bad lease. It was just an old truck because that's what I could afford. And then I remember custom ordering a truck, and I was so proud of it, Then the economy tanked in 09 and part of 10, and I went and worked for this independent guy, and he was just the adult clean version. He enjoyed our money more than we did. He liked to sneak it out a little bit by a little bit. But anyway, my brother-in-law was working here, and he'd went through something similar with the mega carrier that we were at, and he's like, man, you got to try this place. You got to try this place. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And then next thing I know, I won't say his last name, but this guy Jason calls me out of the blue. I don't even know who he is. He said, man, you got to come over here at Autumn. And I'm like, who are you? He said, oh, I'm friends with your brother-in-law, And then 2 more drivers called me, and a couple of them are still here. And I was like, I've got to do this. I've got to at least check it out. And I told that other carrier, I'm done, and called safety, and they said, hey, can we get you to do us a favor? We're just going to pay you to come out here anyway. Since you got your own truck, you want to grab a trailer and bring it on over for us? I was like, sure, I'll do that. And it ended up being my trailer for almost a year.
Yeah.
So, it was awesome. I loved it. Never had pneumatic experience or anything when I came over here. And if I really needed help, I'd ask somebody. Otherwise, I figured it out and found it is extremely family-oriented, and I fell in love with it.
So you started in pneumatics.
Yes.
That's the original division you were in. You're in liquid tanks now. Who was your dispatcher when you started in pneumatics?
Oh, Miss Julie.
Miss
Yeah.
Everybody loves Miss Julie.
Yeah,
over
she's a
there.
rock star. She was one of those that would always take the call from me because I was extremely high strung.
Okay.
And she was able to calm me down enough to get the gist of the information, and she would call me back. And when I was really upset about something that usually had nothing to do with her job, she would just be like, all right, you need to calm down a little bit, relax. I'm not the one you're mad at. And then I'd work through the issue, and yeah, she's my hero.
That's great to hear. Julie's been
You're an
here
okay
for...
dispatcher too. Don't get me wrong. I don't need those angry faces on my
I don't know.
Facebook.
I don't know. You say I don't talk to you enough on the phone, so I'll have to work on that.
Yeah. Reach out, brother. Reach out.
I'm pretty lucky. I have such a great team over there with Josh and Mike and Tyler that they're able to do a lot of the day-to-day dispatching things, and it frees up some of my time to do fun stuff like this and more of the planning. But you were in pneumatics, and then you left Autumn for a little bit.
Yeah, I left for about a year, and then I thought I had my life in order, and I come back, and I ran pneumatic again for a little while, and then life crashed, and I was gone for 3.5 years, and I came back, and I've been back since. And
Did you come back to dumps first, though? Or hoppers?
Hopper. I came back on a dedicated account that got me through the house, and because my current wife, she kept pushing me. You were happy when you were there. You need to go back and be happy. And then I just wanted a little bit more than that same I-40. And then, in fact, I was going back to pneumatic, and then you said that you'd like me on your board, and I came on over on tanker and gave it a shot. So, and I haven't pulled tanker in 20-something years. Gosh, I feel old. But I'm glad I did. I love it. I can't imagine doing anything else now. So,
Do you have anything to add to that, the transition from hoppers to pneumatics or tanks? Besides just that I wanted them on
I have a lot to add. I don't know that we want to go into that, but
There's always, when a guy's looking to change divisions, a lot of decisions that need to be made about which divisions have trailers available and where that driver lives and what would be the best fit for both him and the company.
Right. The driver's intentions and needs and their I'm always an advocate for the driver. Like, that's my biggest thing. Yeah. What they want. Like,
you were with me too. It's
absolutely.
like, well, if you want to be on tank, and I was like, well, they really want me on pneumatic. And,
the thing about you, Chuck, I hope people are, I'm sure they're getting the feel of it just from listening. And you've talked about when you go into a customer and they've had a bad day, you go in there and be the bright light and, help them start all over again.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, I just wanted to compliment you and shout out that I don't think there's a division at this company that wouldn't want you on their team. I mean, I didn't work with you when you first came on and you were in pneumatics, but I knew your last name.
Right.
I had heard about Chuck before, and I felt the buzz in the office.
Everybody did, and it wasn't always good.
There was a positive buzz that you were coming back when you came back to Hoppers. Everyone was pretty happy to have you back and excited about it. And then when the opportunity came to have you join my team, we hadn't really talked before that ever, but just the reputation that you brought was a very positive one. Yeah. It was a very high energy. This is the type of guy that you want on your team.
I'm very protective of this company. Always have been, even when I had to leave. Autumn has a special place. I haven't had that many trucking jobs. I guess 3 coming here, if you count each time I had to restart. But I can count my trucking jobs on one hand. It's if you find something that works and, grow with it. And this is the first company that ever gave me that opportunity to grow. And I did. I did things seen parts of the country I never thought I'd see. Mm-hmm. Did things I never dreamed of doing. And I was able to afford a life that I never had before, and I had the support to do it. So, yeah, that's why people talk about me probably, is because it's like all they ever heard was Autumn this and Autumn that. So, but no, I'm home. I ain't going nowhere.
Well, we love having those Autumn advocates out on the roads, talking about the company, sharing their success, sharing their story. Jenna, how many referrals do you think we get? Is that a pretty common thing where drivers out there are referring people back to Autumn, or drivers who leave and come back to Autumn is something that happens too?
So a couple fun statistics about that. One, I looked up in 2022 how many actual, the number of drivers that were just mentioned to us. We track that even if they weren't hired. And then how many we actually hired. So we had 130 names mentioned to us in I believe it was the year 2022, not our fiscal year. So January to December. And we hired 65 of them. So that's half I think that's a pretty cool number.
Yeah.
So hired half of the names that were even mentioned to us
You're
from
not
our
saying
drivers.
Chuck referred 130 people.
Chuck has referred. So then we have, here's another part of it, is 70% of our hires in general are either a rehire or a referral from our current driver.
Right.
And then you are one of, I think, 3 drivers that are on their 5th referral. So as part of our referral program, once you hit your 4th hired referral, you make $4,000 every single time you send someone and we hire them. So you're, like I said, one of 3 current drivers that I think are at their 4th or 5th at that constant number. So kind of a little mini business in itself.
Which it's not, for me at least, it's not the motivation for me to do it.
Right.
If I see something in a driver that I believe in him, I'll refer him to Autumn. Even when I didn't work here, I would refer drivers. I don't know if they ever came on or what. It was in passing at a truck stop or whatever. But if I don't think they have what it takes for Autumn, I will not put my name anything associated with them, even when we've been friends for years.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was ready to come on over here, and he didn't do what he said he was going to do. And I just turned around and called and said, hey, I don't think he's going to be a right fit.
Yep.
So we're a family, and we got to protect ourselves, kind of, like, you know, insurance, customers, and all that stuff. If a driver messes up and we lose a customer, then I also lose revenue. So,
Right.
you know, so I don't do it. I don't do it for the front end money. I do it for the back end future. You know, get a good crew, get a good family together. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, and when I started here, I remember one of the pieces of advice I think Mark, our other recruiter, gave me. He's like, just so you know, drivers protect each other, like hardcore. Like they're gonna protect their friends from bad companies. And I was like, really? I mean, that's super cool that you have that in the industry, but it's so true.
It is, and there's a few drivers that will protect a good company from a bad driver. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
If you listen to truck drivers talk, we never agree on anything, but we all know who the bad guys are, and we know what's right and wrong. And like whenever I first started, you couldn't use foul language on CB radio. If you did, everybody for 20 miles would just pound the fire out of you. They would just beat you up for using bad language on the radio. Because you never know, somebody might be traveling in a camper with their kids. It was a really big thing. You didn't cuss if a woman's voice came on the radio. It was ma'am. You know, it was always respectful. We always policed ourselves. We don't do that part anymore, but we still defend the good guys, and we still defend good companies. I hear it out there on the road all the time. You hear a lot about the bad ones, though, too. So,
You see a lot about them on Facebook too.
oh yeah. Like you can trim down your options for trucking just by joining a couple of groups. It's like really quick. You know?
It is a strong brotherhood. You think about police officers and the brotherhood they have, or military, and truck drivers are another group I would definitely put in there.
They're loyal. You know, if you deserve defense, they'll defend you. But when you're wrong, they'll let you know too.
Because, like you said, they're protecting themselves,
Exactly.
their industry, and
Exactly.
standing up for that. Now, when it comes to referrals, one of the things that I do hear, though, from some people time to time is maybe a hesitancy to refer other drivers because they think that new driver will take away from their business and their opportunities. And we actually have 2 of your referrals on the Liquid Tank team, and you guys all kind of live in the same area.
Right.
Was that a fear of yours or a hesitancy on your part?
No, because I will go where the load is. Like obviously with you, I didn't want to go up on the East Coast because there's a thing called the East Coast Shuffle. You get up there and it seems like that's where you live. You know, I live in central United States, so I don't mind going up there, but I want right back out, you know. But that's the same way with me everywhere in the country. I don't do real well with dedicated accounts for more than 7, 8, 9 trips because it gets really boring. But when they asked me about Autumn. I told them what I did, and some of them, "Hey, I want to be like that. I want to do that. And if they're able to do it, then God bless them. It's like, why there's plenty of work. If I thought for a minute that they were going to take my job, I'd probably still tell them about it, but because I can go do something else. I mean, I was doing hopper before I come to tanker, and before I did hopper, I did pneumatic. So it's
Triple threat.
yeah. I mean, all I got to do is go to Windy Hill and get something else added to my truck, and a couple of $1,000s later, I just bought another job. So
Get him a triple threat sticker for his cat.
Yeah.
And I say also that having more drivers, it does give us the opportunity to go after more loads too.
absolutely.
So you add more guys to your fleet. Now you're able to say yes to more things. Where as a freight planner, I may have been hesitant about taking this load or that load or bringing on this customer or that customer because, man, I just don't know that I'm going to have the trucks to get there to cover that freight.
Right.
So rather than more drivers shrinking the pool, it can help you expand it as well, where now you can say yes to more things because you got more guys that can do it.
Oh, absolutely. And if there's a customer that we really like, you can actually put a bug in their ear. Hey, I've got the capacity. I can do all of these. I don't have to do just one or two. Yeah, absolutely. And it's always good to be able to go to the boss and say, hey, I really need you to invest another $500,000 in more equipment because, hey, look at all this work I got. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah. Now, speaking of equipment and investments, what the heck's been going on with your truck, man? Do you remember what it looks like?
I vaguely do. And I'm trying to be a grown up here. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, I bought a warranty with my truck, and I went in because I thought the EGR cooler was leaking, and I was right. It was, and it was a good news, bad news deal. They called me like 2 days later. I was in a hotel, and they said, "Hey, we changed the EGR cooler, and you're still shooting coolant everywhere. So we got to pull the head." And as soon as they did that, I knew it was going to be an expensive thing, and it was. And I had to fight to get them to honor my warranty. Their logic was crazy, but it was a deal where somebody made a mistake. They typed in the wrong number. And whenever I showed them their mistake and they did it again and they calmly listened to me, now it's covered under warranty. So, I'll be glad I get my purple baby back. But
Yeah. How long has that truck been in the shop?
6-7 weeks now. It's been a minute.
I'm gonna say it feels like it's been a couple months.
But again, that goes back to the family and teamwork thing too. I stayed a couple of weeks because, hey, tomorrow we're going to have it done. We're going to have it done. And 2 weeks went by. And finally, I rented a car and went home. And on the way home, I got a hold of the company, and they had a rental truck up here, a truck that I can loan. They can loan to me, So mine's not making me no money. Mine's costing me money. So I rented another car. And I drove another day up and got into a loaner truck and went back to work, So just got to be vocal and polite. I don't think I was aggravated in any way about my truck being broke down. I am so used to Murphy's Law. It's like me and him are best drinking buddies. We really are. It's like, hey man, I know that you're about to give me a good kick in the backside, so hey, let's be friends now. It's like, let's figure this out. But I will say, it's been a while since this hard of an example has hit me with a breakdown. Years ago, it happened, and I worked my way through it. It was really tough for me to do. I've got a good support team. My wife was like, "No, you've been here before. Just relax. Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay." Dispatch, hey, let us know whenever you're up and running. We got you a load. Okay, cool. So now all I got to do is figure out how to pull that load, and I'm golden again, And I try to tell that to everybody that gets discouraged, because I know drivers here even that have had weird breakdowns, like not something that you can anticipate and protect yourself against. They just happen. They get aggravated, they get frustrated, and just tell them take a deep breath and work their way through it, Nothing's permanent unless you make it. Just breathe deep, make a plan, work the plan,
Yeah.
and you come back out on top. It doesn't take long to do it.
Yeah, breakdowns, they can be tough. And the approach that you take and the attitude that you keep makes a huge difference. And I know that as a company, your situation isn't unique. We've had numerous drivers who have major breakdowns, need engines rebuilt, and parts right now are just terrible.
Everything is back ordered. Everything. It doesn't even matter how stupid it is. I had a step replaced on my truck. They said, well, it's 2 weeks out. Everything is 2 weeks out.
Yeah. And we do what we can to support you guys when you do have that situation. For you, we were able to get you into a rental truck, and it didn't have a pump, a PTO on it, but we were able to dispatch you around loads where that wasn't needed.
Right.
It's a little bit more work, but it's what we want to do to keep up our end of the partnership with you, to find you loads that will work for you so that you can keep making revenue. Now, what do you do as an owner-operator to protect yourself from some of those longer unanticipated downtimes? Do you utilize the auto maintenance account? Do you have an account at home that you set aside for unexpected repairs that are going to be needed?
All the above. I have the maintenance account that the company offers. I also have the savings account that the company offers. And then I have my business account, which is just my business. And I transfer out of it for my house. So as long as the wife and I stay on a budget, then the company can grow. And then once a year or so, if we need the money, then we can splurge and we can go do something, But if I need the money for the breakdown, I have it. Like the whole time I was off, our income changed at the house by just a couple of $100 because I had a reserve, and I was able to get my truck stuff taken care of out of my maintenance and in my savings account here at the company. So
I think that's so important for guys to understand and to plan for. As an owner-operator, you're paying yourself, essentially, and you're only making money when you're working.
Right.
And I think I've seen situations where guys get some of that trucking money that they can make. You can make really good money, and they get that money maybe for the first time, and it's like, I'm buying a new Harley.
Yeah.
I'm buying a boat.
Well, I've told all my friends that I brung on over here, helped get on over here, just because your truck makes $4,000, $8,000 after expenses does not mean that you've got $4,000 to $8,000. You lived as a company driver for $800, $1,200 a week. So give yourself a pay raise. You make $1,800 a week, and pay that to yourself and leave the rest alone. At the end of the year, if you don't need that money that's sitting back there, then hey, go have fun. You and the wife earned it. She backed you up all this time. But if you're spending it as fast as you make it, that is the biggest downfall I've ever seen with especially lease drivers, drivers that lease on with a company after they've only had company experience. They see that money and they see the shiny things that they could buy with that money. And now all of a sudden, all my little kid dreams are coming true, and you just got to be a grown-up about it and say, hey, that's not my money. That's my truck's money.
Yeah, remember that if your coolant starts spraying all over the engine, the company's not going to pay to get that fixed.
No, they're not.
You're going to be paying to get that fixed.
No, they're not. I spent $1,000 in 1 week on engine coolant. And, I even put up a sign in front of the dash camera saying, hey, here's my GPS location. I'm broke down. I need help, because I had no cell phone service.
Yeah.
But I got some highway guys to stop and go get me a wrecker.
We had another guy just came through. I saw the repair. He had to get 8 new tires on the truck.
Oh, yeah.
And
ridiculous.
That's an owner-operator expense.
Yeah.
And if you're not anticipating that,
right there.
setting that money aside, planning for that, it can really sneak up on you pretty fast.
Yeah, but again, with this company, you guys have national tire counts that we get deep discounts at. It still costs us the money, obviously, but we do have that benefit that we do get financial discounts using some of the connections that Autumn has made over the years. So that lessens it. but there's still $5,800, $6,000 there that yesterday you wasn't having to spend, but today you now have to do it.
Yeah.
And if you had a really good time at home last weekend, you don't have $5,800.
Yeah. I heard this weekend I was listening to another podcast, and they said this thing that's kind of stuck with me, and the guy said to remember the more that you have, the more of everything that you have.
That's true.
So the more money you have, you can buy more things,
Yep.
but you're also now responsible for more things.
Yes.
And
More stress, more aggravation, more everything. Absolutely.
yeah, that one really stuck with me to remember that the more you have, the more of everything, the more good and the more bad.
See, now I'm a simple man for real. In my everything I do in life,
That'd be a good karaoke song. Skinner, Simple
it
Man.
really is a good one. I actually used to play that a lot. But
Jenna, do you want to do that one? Yeah.
I know a different version. I don't know if it's be a simple kind of man. I'm thinking of.
No, I think those are the lyrics, but maybe not the tone.
yeah.
I think I'm thinking of a different artist. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Now
Karaoke with Jenna will be a new podcast coming
it
up.
should be. It really should be.
Hosted by Chuck Haviland.
Yeah, I'll pick the songs. We'll let a 50-year-old pick something for a millennial. We'll see how that turns out. It should be interesting.
Anything Taylor Swift, Jenna would love.
Oh no.
But the only thing I can say is that I'm with Autumn, it affords you like quality, not so much quantity. You know what I mean? Like I choose not to have a lot of home time, but when I'm home, I'm home. Everything's about my family and my wife whenever I'm home. And when I'm at work, they're in the back of my mind, but my job is to focus on my job. We had a rough few years, and coming back to Autumn, I was able to get my wife 2 very nice cars that I never get to drive. But she likes them. And, we were always buying these stupid little, and it's the little things too. Like we'd buy these stupid little inflatable swimming pools for the kids, and my wife would be able to set in for a little bit, but she couldn't relax. And this last year, I decided to go out and get an above ground pool. Now, I didn't buy the $10,000 above ground pool. I got the $800 one, but it's a lot better than the $20 Walmart pool. So, I'm moving up slowly, but it's a good feeling to be able to have the ability not to have to tell your kids no all the time. The wife deserves to have, and this is not being a man-male relationship thing. It's my wife works hard too. It's not just the driver. It's their entire family sacrifices when the driver's driving. Mm-hmm. The driver is missing a lot of things, but so is his kids, so is his wife, and so if you can pay your wife back by letting her go get her nail, not letting her, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you can afford her to be able to go out and get her nails done, get her hair done, go buy, which my wife did this last week, go out buy matching outfits for all the women in their life. It looks really like a wild bingo party. But
Did I mention that Chuck's from Arkansas?
yes. Yes,
We love our Arkansans.
I'm from Arkansas. We're simple, but we're real. And
I know.
Didn't she spend money on your dog's butt too? You're telling me.
she's gonna kill all of us. But,
I haven't heard this story, but I deserve to, and so do our listeners.
Well, okay.
Oh my God.
Well, last night I got a message after I got to the hotel and went to bed that she had to use the credit card for a major purchase. She had to take my dog to the vet, the ER, and because she was whining and just wasn't being her happy self that she is. She's a little dash hound, and today she informed me that she had to put it on my credit card because I have some travel expenses coming up. But apparently, a dog has issues with anal glands, and you started this, so now I gotta say it. So They gave her a sedative, the dog, not the wife, and some antibiotics. We're hoping everything comes out okay later. But
Wow. That's a special Mother's Day memory for your wife.
yeah, right. I guess
She'll
it could be
always
worse. It could have been one of my kids, but it's just one of my four-legged animals, four-legged kids, and they really are kids at my house. They get treated better than I do. I'll be honest.
That's a funny story, Chuck. Yeah, that's probably one of those situations where, as a driver, you're maybe not so bummed out to be missing out on what's going on at home.
Exactly. It's like, just give me the highlights. You don't have to go play by play. Just
Kind of good to be out on the road.
right. How much is that going to cost for me not to hear the rest of the story?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably a good point to wrap up. We'll leave things on that note. But before you go, Chuck, what would you say to somebody that is considering Autumn? What do you, we know that you tell people a lot about it, so give me kind of the 2-sentence.
You don't have to take my word for it. Ask a couple of other drivers. We're all over the country. You'll see us. We're usually the ones with the shiny equipment because we actually do have good equipment. And just ask yourself if you want somebody that's really going to be a family, or if you want somebody that's just going to give you lip service until you get in there. Talk is free. I would say call our recruiters. Talk to them and be honest. That's the main thing. A lot of drivers, they'll listen to the spiel, but they don't ask anything back. Make a list of the things that you want from your company, what you expect for yourself, and don't give up on that list. If they're not checking off those boxes, walk away. I mean, that's what I did even whenever I first started here. Here's what I expect. Here's what I will do, won't do. Does this fit for you? Because if so, hey, let's talk. If not, then I'm not going to waste your time.
Yeah, level setting those expectations that you have as a driver and that we have as a company, and making sure that we're in alignment with one another.
Know your worth, know your value. Don't sacrifice that ever. And be open to listen to what the company's got to offer. Because I don't think there's any driver that can't benefit from this company. And that's just me being honest. A lot of people see that we do tanker and pneumatic. We don't do the general freight. And that makes them a little nervous sometimes because they don't have the experience. Don't worry about it. It's not rocket science. Hell, I do it. So come on over here. Give them a call. Be honest and talk to them.
Thank you, Chuck, for being here. I'm excited to get you back rolling again in your own truck. Getting
Me too. I got
the
bills
big
to
purple
pay.
machine back out on the road. And I hope that they're able to get everything fixed up, wrapped up quickly here in the next day or two so you can go down and get that truck. Appreciate all the effort that you give, the mentoring that you do, the referrals that you sent over. Get the pleasure of working with a couple of those guys every day. And just love having you on the team. Thanks for being here.
Hey, it was a pleasure talking to you guys. And most of all, I'm glad that you had the opportunity to talk to me. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Just want to say thanks to everybody for listening today to the Autumn Transport Podcast. If you could do us a favor, go on to whatever podcast platform you're listening to. Give us a review. Give us a like. Help get the word out. Share this with your friends, family, anybody that you think would benefit. Have a great day.